Bye-bye, Wilbur. Bye-bye for the last time. Alright, so Wilbur's long gone, and here's the new guy. And we've decided the name on this little guy is going to be Little Willy. We can't have another Wilbur, and this one's much, much smaller than Wilbur. So, you know, to call it, and he's not as grand, you know, maybe as a William would be, or a Wilfred. So, well, definitely not a Wilfred, that's just cocky. So we're going to go with Little Willy. Little Willy. Little Willy here is an old Ford truck, and I have no idea how old. Not an 07. I promise you that. This was a truck bought from the local, or one of the local counties, from their road department. And it was, of course, went to auction. Let's see what to say here. See if I can even read it. Jasper County, which is over east of here a little bit. But you know, it's a stout little old truck. And actually, just looking over real quick, the tires on it, the front tires, they're probably at least 60 to 70%. The back tires, man, they're like 90%. The back tires on this truck are really, really good, which, you know, just in general, just the tires on this truck are worth over $1,000. If I had to go around and replace them all right now, it'd be probably closer to $2,000. The tires are in good shape. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how old this truck is. The seller couldn't find the title just yet. I'm hoping he finds it. If he doesn't, oh well, I'll take it on a bill of sale. But I'm happy it's a Ford and it's a diesel. But let me show you guys something I had never heard of. Uh-oh, my hood don't want to open. Something I had never heard of, never seen. What in the world? That must have just come off. Yeah, okay. Sorry, that's supposed to bolt on there. I guess the bolt fell out. I had never heard of, and I had never seen this engine in this truck. Let me show you. Get down here on the tag if you can see it. Right there. It'll focus. 7.8 liter Ford engine. Now, of course, it's probably built by International, but a 7.8 liter, it's an inline six diesel. I've heard of and, you know, knew a lot about, well, I wouldn't say I knew a lot about, but I was very familiar with the inline six. That was an old solid engine that Ford had made for a gasser, but I had never heard of, and I've talked to several you know, my family and buddies that work on diesels, they had never heard of the Ford 7.8 liter inline six diesel. But it's old school mechanical injection diesel, which is the way I like it. I don't know if it's indirect injection or direct injection, but I mean, there's your mechanical injector pump there with all the injector lines coming off of it. And to be honest with you, I haven't even looked this truck over that much. I just got it home last night. I didn't spend very long looking at it when I went to buy it. There's a couple basic things that need to be fixed up. Obviously, it'd be good to get a actual cover on this air intake to seal it up right. Now I got to fix that hood latch that apparently fell off on the way home last night. We opened the hood when I got home last night, and it opened up just fine like this, and then apparently flipping it up and me backing it up 100 feet made it fall off again. I don't know. I noticed there was a button on the dash under the steering wheel for an ether for a cold start. I don't really want to have to use ether on this thing. I don't even know if it works or not, but it's there. That was not uncommon on older trucks like this. They would build in an ether option for cold starts before glow plugs and, you know, preheaters were really a thing. But I want to show you the engine. That's the coolest thing I think about it. Otherwise, I mean, it's just a plain old, you know, simple dump truck. It's actually it's CDL required, believe it or not. Even though it's a little single axle truck, these usually aren't that heavy, but it has a gross weight. Where's the tag? Here. Gross weight rating 33,000. Why won't my camera focus? It's like my autofocus is turned off. 33,000 on the gross weight rating. So in Texas, 26,000 is the CDL limit. But that doesn't matter. I've got my Class B CDL, so that's okay. The door latch is a little messed up here. When you hit this door will lock and latch. Gosh dang it. Hang on. This thing's driving me nuts. So this little latch will fall in when you shut the door, and then you can't get the door to open back up. It has to do with the locking mechanism. I got to find some way to jimmy that. I can reach inside the door here and find a way to open it, but I want to find a way to either just make it where it won't latch. Probably what I'll do. I'll just have the window down and just tie the door shut. Put a bungee cord on here behind the seat or something. That's I've done that before. But yeah, obviously the cab's a little tore up, you know, whatever. Hey, I got a free crescent wrench with the deal. But pretty simple. It's a standard transmission. It's a 6-speed transmission too. That's cool. Here's that cold ether start I was telling you about. So to engage the PTO, you got to clutch it, throw this over. That's your PTO, and then here's your actual lever for up and down on the bed. Stick shift, obviously. Got an old radio speaker here. Doesn't work, obviously. Temperature gauge, I don't believe works. The lights, the headlights actually do come on. They kind of flicker on and off, but they do come on. They stay only on high beams. See, I'm short a windshield wiper right there. But the windshield's actually not cracked. The whole thing needs to be cleaned. The glass all needs to be cleaned. It does have a seatbelt. Got a seatbelt over there. Got a driver belt here behind me. So that's simple enough. But hey, let's see, you know what, just for fun, let's see if we can even start it. This will be the first time I've started it cold. It may be dead, I don't know. Oh, my brake buzzer's gonna aggravate y'all. Let's see what happens. No, that doesn't sound very good. Nope, she dead. Oh, okay, so sounds like I'm gonna need new batteries because it's not even wanting to crank off. He had to jump it off when I went to look at it and start it, and it's been sitting for, he said it had been sitting for over a year, so I wasn't really expecting the batteries to be anything special. But it's it looks like it's paralleled, right? Yeah, so you got two, sorry, I'm way in here. So you've got these two cables running together to both the positives and two cables running to both the negatives. So it's parallel. So it's the same as my pickup. It's a 12-volt system, but it's got parallel batteries, as opposed to a 24-volt system where the batteries are in series. Hydraulic tank. It doesn't really appear to be leaking. That hose is damp. It's wet, but I don't see any drips. Maybe the tank's empty. I did have it started, and we tested it before I bought it. I tested the bed up and down, drove it back and forth. This is your lever for the bed. So to dump the bed, you flip this down. That opens your claws on the back so the bed can dump. And then you got the rope here just so you can reach out and pull it up easier. We'll latch that back up. Actually, so the deal was Wilbur rolled out of here on Jeff's truck yesterday. And Jeff actually brought it back last night. So I didn't have to go over there and pick it up, which was good because I would have been driving after dark, and that wouldn't have been nice. So I just had him go ahead and bring it back versus me having to make that trip and gamble with a truck that I didn't know if the lights or really if the brakes worked worth a hoot or anything. The brakes do work. I've got in and punched the brakes. They work. But Jeff actually brought it back and then parked it at his house. He parked his heavy haul at his house and unloaded and drove it. He drove this into my house the last about 7 miles. And he said everything was fine. He didn't have any problems with it. It's smoking a bit, and the lights, of course, flickered on and off. I think he said the lower tail lights are working last night, but maybe the uppers on the bed aren't. There's one other issue, one very major issue. Well, I say very major. One major issue that I want to address before I do a whole lot of driving around in this truck. And that is right here. That's my turbo. And my turbo is leaking oil. And it's not just leaking oil. You can see up on the air intake, that's the compressed side of the turbo, there's oil all up there. This thing is leaking oil, I think, both internally and externally, because it is smoking like crazy. Now, when I went to look at it, of course, the guy says, oh, it doesn't normally smoke that much. You know, it's just been sitting. Well, then when Jeff went to pick it up, the guy was like, man, this thing smokes like a pig all the time. So it is what it is. You know, I expect an old diesel engine like this to smoke a little bit. He told me it was burning a little oil. you know, and again, I expected to burn a little oil. But anyway, I'm hoping, I'm cautiously optimistic that maybe just rebuilding the turbo, replacing the seals in the turbo, will fix the bulk majority of the oil burn and the leak. I'm thinking maybe it's leaking oil internally, sending it back through the intake, making the engine burn it off, and it may actually be bypassing some oil just straight out the exhaust pipe, which would also burn off as it goes out the exhaust. I think. I don't know that for sure. Anyway, other than that, you know, it steers tight, the brakes work right. So for me, for it to be just a little get around truck here, haul a little dirt here on the farm as I need to, and maybe make a daylight run every now and then to go get a load of rock or go get some logs. I'm planning on registering it as farm use only, not for hire. So it'll be just a farm use truck. That should make it pretty easy for me to get away with just about anything. As far as how the lights are working and everything else, as long as it's safe to run down the road. DOT normally doesn't mess with you too much if you're farm licensed. And I think actually having it farm licensed, I think you can even get away with not having a CDL. But anyway, my goal with this truck is not to be taking it on long hauls and running you really long trips. It's just not made for that. But it is going to be nice to have a truck that will actually be able to get down the road, you know, legally, as opposed to Wilbur, who couldn't do that. So anyway, I think for now, I think I'm going to move some stuff around. I want to get this truck out of my way just because it's in my turnaround right now. And I still want to try to do some dirt work here while I can. It's sunny and dry. I need to get more of this dirt work done for the greenhouses. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this truck jumped off from my truck. I think I'm gonna park it over there where Rita's sitting. So I'm gonna move Rita, get this truck started, move it over there, and then I'll try to do some dirt with Rosie while I still got some sunlight. But anyway, I just wanted to show you the Little Willy here. Like I said, we got a few things to work on. I'll see if I can get some video of, you know, when we take that turbo off. But for now, I'm just gonna, you know, move the truck. I'm gonna pull that turbo off there just so we can look at it and see what it's gonna take to rebuild it. I don't know that it's going to be replaced. I think just some basic seals will rebuild it. Anyway, there's Little Willy. Welcome home. All right, well, there's your proof for what it's worth. I had to get him jumped off again. I guess the batteries are no good, but once I got hooked up to my truck, it popped right off. This compressor belt is obviously a bit loose. I'll have to look for the tensioner on that or else replace it, but otherwise it's a surprisingly quiet engine. For just sitting here, it's surprisingly quiet. I'll sit there and purr. But I got the air building right now, so then I'm going to turn around and just park it over yonder.